DC, Gotham anti-hero rises with ultimate powers. Episode 91. At this time, outside the OUA Star, some uninvited guests were welcomed, and they all had a common feature, that is, they all had a ring that emitted yellow light on their fingers. They are the Yellow Lantern Legion under Sinisto, also known as the Sinisto Legion, which has one of the 7 emotional spectrums of fear yellow light. Sinisto looked at OUA Xing, with a trace of reminiscence in his eyes, and soon covered by fierce color, he waved his hand gently, and the Legion members behind him turned into several yellow streamers and quickly flew towards OUA Xing. As the leader, Sinisto looked in a certain direction of OUA Star, he knew where he was looking, and he could even say that he was traveling for this. Soon, Sinisto also turned into a yellow light and quickly flew towards his target, Green Light Central Battery. At the same time, the people of Waxing did not detect the invasion of Sinisto's Legion in time. By the time they found the Sinister Legion, the other party had already hit the doorstep. Boom! The Sani 057 Legion continued to wreak havoc at various locations on OUA Star, and many buildings were destroyed. The Green Lanterns mobilized, and nearly 10 Green Lanterns embodied out of chains and tried to bind one of the Sinisto Legion members. After struggling for a while, Archelo began to say the oath of their Sinister Legion, and his body was full of incomparably dazzling yellow light. The dark day is clear, the day is clear. The evil gangsters are afraid of the light of God. Fear is burned, and those who oppose me die. Fear is the source, say authoritarian. With a blinding yellow light, all the green chains wrapped around Achillo's body were destroyed, and then he began to fight back against the members of the Green Lantern Legion. Soon, many members of the Green Lantern Legion, who were not opponents of the Sinisto Legion, were beheaded one after another, and countless Green Lantern rings began to fly high into the air. Both Aretha and Layla heard movement outside, and when they came out, they found the bodies of Green Lantern Corps members lying on the ground. Oh my god, Aretha covered her mouth in shock. The scene in front of her was too amazing. Huh? Achillo, who killed an unknown number of Green Lanterns, captured Aretha and Layla, and began to fly in their direction the next moment. Seeing this, Layla immediately blocked in front of Aressa, and a green laser shot towards Achillo. The latter was not afraid at all, and the same yellow laser burst out and collided with the green laser, but it was broken in a few seconds. Layla pounced on Aretha and barely dodged the yellow laser with her. When they came back to their senses, Achillo was almost in front of them, and Achillo held the yellow giant axe in his hand, holding it high in the sky and slashing down. Oh! Arisa gritted her teeth and rushed forward, figuring out a shield and taking the attack of the giant axe, but at the same time the shield shattered. Layla quickly caught the forced Aressa, and both looked at Achillo, who was ready to go. Phew! With a sound of breaking air, green light flashed in Achillo's afterlight, and then he felt a huge force blast open in his chest. Boo! Achillo instantly flew upside down for thousands of meters and smashed heavily into the building of Waxing. Only then did the two women see clearly the figure of the Comer. It turned out to be Jiang Li, who had been with them happily before. Are you alright? Read violent novels, just go to Feilu Fiction Network. Both Layla and Aretha shook their heads, and soon 2 more figures fell behind Jiang Li. It was Hal and Kiravog, who were belated. I didn't expect these guys to invade OUA Star so quickly, but why did Sinister disappear? Kiravog snorted softly. Although I don't know what that bastard is going to do, it's okay to designate. Jiang Li thoughtfully, there are not many things in OUA Star that Sinisto cares about. First of all, the yellow defect of the green light has not been overcome, which means that the Parallax monster is still inside the Green Light Central Energy Battery. Is it for Parallax? The more Jiang Li thought about it, the more likely it was. After all, Sinisto was very hungry for the power of the Parallax monster, and Hal Jordan and the Parallax monster combined to become the Parallax demon almost destroyed the entire universe. There may be people who don't know who the Parallax demon is. Parallax demons are symbiotes formed by the fusion of the host and Parallax monsters, and have the power to reorganize the entire multiverse. Of course, this depends on a combination of host and other factors. The Parallax monster is one of the 7 light beasts, representing the yellow light of fear, sealed in the central energy battery by the guardian of the universe, the little blue man. Pinned down by the Green Lantern beast Ion Shark, the green light affected by the Parallax monster cannot work on yellow objects, and is declared by the little blue man as a yellow defect, without mentioning the existence of the Parallax monster. Anessa, Layla, you and Kiravog together fend off the Yellow Lantern Corps, and Hal and I go to meet Sinisto. Everyone nodded when they heard this, and then Arisa kissed Jiang Li's cheek lightly, and said with a sweet smile, "Come on, Mr. Newcomer." Episode 92. Sinisto came to the location of the Green Lantern Corps' central energy battery and looked at the big lamp furnace that emitted a brilliant green light, and the corners of his mouth raised an evil and longing smile. He had long coveted the Parallax monster sealed in the lamp furnace, and as long as that time came, he would have the power to destroy and avenge the guardians of the universe. Sinisto, you are finally here. It seems that you have not forgotten what you promised. As Sinister approached, the voice of the Parallax monster entered the former's mind. And what happened in the mouth of the Parallax monster was naturally that Sinisto obtained the yellow light energy and promised the Parallax monster to let him out of the cage of the central energy battery. Yes, I'm coming. Just as Sinisto gradually flew towards the lamp furnace, Jiang Li and Hal also arrived at the same time. Hal raised his hand, pointed his green light ring at Sinisto, and said, "Stop." "Sinisto, what exactly are you going to do with the central energy battery?" Hearing this, Sinisto slowly turned around, looked at Hal and Jiang Li, and said softly, "Crush the Guardians, lie." After that, Sinisto's powerful yellow laser shattered the barrier of the lamp furnace, and huge green energy poured towards the entire space. The out-of-control powerful energy is sensed by all Green Lanterns, as well as the little blue men of the Guardian of the Universe. Suffered. Something happened over there with the central energy battery, so all the Guardians gave up dealing with the Yellow Lantern Legion and chose to rush in the direction of the central energy battery. Only Ganser remained on the battlefield and inherited to help the Green Lantern Corps together against the Yellow Lantern Corps. Free. A cold strange sound came from the lamp stove, and immediately the three of them saw a giant insect-like monster with yellow in shape, with multiple hands and feet and a multi-knotted body. It is one of the spectral emotions, the lamp beast of the yellow light of fear, the parallax monster. The first thing the parallax monster freedom does is find a suitable host, and the first of the three people present to ignore is the Sinister who released it. In Jiang Li and Hal, after hesitating for a while, he directly chose the latter, because the latter has huge willpower and is his favorite host. Jiang Li was not surprised by this, because there was a saying that Har was the will of the universe itself, and the parallax monster's favorite and most heartfelt was Hal. "You're mine." After discovering its target, the parallax monster immediately flew quickly towards Hal, who quickly shot a green laser, but could not stop the other party in the slightest. Sinisto then immediately flew towards Hal in an attempt to stop the fusion of the parallax and Hal, and Jiang Li naturally did not plan to continue watching the play, because he knew that once the parallax mover appeared, it would be a very difficult opponent. But the voice of the system appeared in his mind at this time. Special note, the host's Green Lantern ring has the ability to absorb the seven-lamp beast, and the final form is to be opened. Just as Jiang Li was stunned, the parallax monster had broken through the barrier of Hal and Sinisto and directly entered Hal's body. Hal instantly fell to his knees. The parallax monster was eating away at his will, reminding him of all the things that scared him in the past. Jiang Li saw that the parallax monster had entered the parallax monster's body, and he no longer hesitated, but immediately flew into the destroyed battery lamp furnace. At the same time, the Guardian Little Blue also arrived at the scene, and they saw Hal kneeling on the ground and Sinisto with a black line. Zero ask for flowers to read violent novels, just go to Feilu Novel Network. Sinisto. What are you doing with the central energy battery? What's in it? The little blue man immediately questioned Sinisto, and no one was worried about the situation in Hal on the ground. Humph, ha ha ha, an evil laugh spread throughout the space, and everyone looked towards the source of the sound, that is, Hal Jordan. Hal raised his head, his hair was beginning to turn gray, and the corners of his mouth raised a hideous smile, revealing white, sharp teeth. "I'm here." As soon as the words fell, a huge aura of energy swept the entire space, and the little blue people and Sinisto knew very well that this huge energy was mixed with the power of green will and yellow fear. The little blue man couldn't help but change his face. They finally knew where the parallax monster was, but they hadn't realized how serious the matter had become. Boom. Hal, who turned into a parallax demon, turned around, his hands burst out with amazing power, and the powerful two-color light instantly flooded the group of little blue people, directly turning into ashes. The perspective turns to Jiang Li's side. At this time, Jiang Li had already discovered the weak ion shark in the lamp furnace, and Jiang Li immediately raised the green light ring in his hand. The next moment, the green light emitted by the green light ring shrouded the entire green body of the ion shark, and the latter gradually turned into energy into Jiang Li's green light ring. Boom. In an instant, incomparably powerful power poured into Jiang Li's body, and dazzling blue light rose up into the sky. Everyone in OUA Star felt this terrifying aura at the same time, and they all stopped the battle in their hands and looked at the brilliant light that rushed into the sky. Episode 93. The parallax demon who killed the little blue man in front of him turned around and looked at the pillar of blue light rising into the sky, grinding sharp teeth in his mouth and making a harsh sound. The parallax demon is not afraid at all, because he has the power of will and fear, not to mention that the host of Hal Jordan is not an ordinary host. Damn, Sinisto's face was extremely ugly at this time, and the power that should have belonged to him had entered the body of his old enemy. Phew. A blue streamer flew out of the pillar of light, cut an arc in the endless universe, and flew straight towards the direction of the parallax demon. The whole process was only a short period of 0.00001 seconds. Even the parallax demon did not react, was hit by the streamer, and the whole body flew backwards like a running bullet. Ahem. Parallax demon hideous mouth spurted hot blood, and he turned into a green light that crossed an unknown number of light years and flew straight upside down towards another planet. Everyone in OUA Star was stunned in place, staring at the green figure in the sky, which was Jiang Li after absorbing the ion shark. At this time, Jiang Li was wearing blue armor, a red cloak fluttering in the wind, and his body was wrapped with black and green lightning. Leave Aretha and Layla had a hint of worry in their eyes, because they were afraid that there was a heavy price behind this powerful force. But in fact, they thought too much. The ion shark will not only not become a burden for Jiang Li, but can forever become one of Jiang Li's forces. Jiang Li looked at his hands. This powerful power made him extremely happy, and now he could be said to have the ability to be invincible to the entire single universe. Boom. With a wave of his hands, Jiang Li burst out powerful green energy, instantly rushing towards the entire OUA star. And finally the conscious Yellow Lantern Legion was stunned to the ground by the energy. He also took away a yellow light ring by the way. Aretha and Layla and the others were overjoyed, and this time the Yellow Lantern Legion was planted in their Green Lantern Legion. Immediately, Jiang Li turned into a streamer, and instantly came to the planet where the Parallax Demon fell. This planet was extremely desolate, without the slightest breath of life. Boom! A yellow laser shot from behind Jiang Li, and Jiang Li's figure easily dodged the sneak attack of the Parallax Demon in a flash. Jiang Li and the Parallax Demon faced each other 100 meters apart, and almost at the same time, the two figures flew towards each other. They clenched their fists at the same time, and then the two collided together at the same time, and the energy that was enough to destroy the entire planet immediately destroyed the surroundings. If you observe it in outer space, the planet where Jiang Li and the Parallax Demon are located at this time has begun to show cracks visible to the naked eye. Boom! In the end, the nameless planet could no longer withstand the confrontation between Jiang Li and the Parallax Demon, and turned into a dazzling flame in the dark universe to illuminate the surroundings. Light years away, the Green Lantern Corps can clearly see the destruction of a planet, as well as Sinisto, who took the opportunity to rescue some of the Yellow Lantern members. The only surviving little blue man, Ganser, knew very well what those two forces came from, which was nothing more than the Ion Shark and the Parallax Monster that their Guardians of the Universe had been hiding. Guardian, what the hell is going on? Why did Hal and Jiang Li become like that? Layla, who has always dared to ask and answer, came to Gunther and asked the latter directly. Gunther knew that this secret since the establishment of the Green Lantern Corps could no longer be hidden, so he simply replied to all the Green Lanterns present. Possessed by them are two emotional lamp beasts, each of which has its own lamp beast, among which the Ion Shark and the Parallax Monster are the light beasts of the Green Light of Will and the Yellow Light of Fear, respectively. Aretha stood up, her little face full of disappointment, and even said with some anger in her tone, "Why are you telling us this now?" Gunther is also guilty. Now among the Guardians of the Universe, he is the only one who retains emotions, and he knows that emotions can protect the universe. The so-called doubtful people do not need. The reason why people do not doubt is also clear to him, but he alone is difficult to make other Guardians change their minds. Zero. It's our fault. Kid Ganser also looked in the direction of the central energy battery. I think there are already people who have paid for their own concealment. Green Lanterns, now I implore you to dedicate your strength. Now the new Green Lantern from the Earth, Jiang Li is our last trump card to win. When Aretha and the Green Lanterns, including Layla, heard this, they raised their Green Lantern rings the next moment, and their voices were generous. The day is clear, the night is vast. There is nothing to hide. The evil gangsters are afraid of the light of God. Green light is everlasting, the light of all worlds. You can't defeat me. We'll fight here until dark. How about we each take a step back? The Parallax Demon clearly understood that the strength of the two sides was almost the same, and neither could help the other, let alone kill the other party. What's more, the current Parallax Demon is not considered to be the peak 29, and the Parallax Demon at the peak is wearing the green light ring of several Green Lanterns, and also absorbs the green light energy of the entire central energy battery. Huh? Suddenly, Jiang Li's enhanced vision sensed the green light energy hundreds of light years away. It looks like we're going to decide, read violent novels, just go to Feilu Fiction Network. What? Just when the Parallax Demon was still puzzled, Jiang Li instantly disappeared from his field of vision. Jiang Li, on the other hand, flashed to the energy and began to frantically absorb the green light energy from hundreds of Green Lanterns. Boom! Suddenly, Jiang Li's body burst out with amazing momentum, green aura wandered around his body, and the green light ring on his finger was even more dazzling. Episode 94. The Parallax Demon could feel this amazing aura even if he was hundreds of light years away, and he planned to leave here after the secret passage was not good. But who knew that as soon as he turned around, Jiang Li had already appeared in front of his eyes, and his whole body exuded a blue aura. What? The Parallax Demon was shocked, the alarm bell in his heart sounded wildly, and an unprecedented pressure appeared in his heart. If before he could still fight with the other party, now he can only say that he is not the opponent's opponent, although he does not want to admit it. Since we refuse to take a step back, then we will all perish. After speaking, the Parallax Demon raised his hands, and the green and yellow energy gathered in his hands. If others took this blow, they would surely have no bones. Boom. The green and yellow energy lasers quickly slammed into Jiang Li, who smiled indifferently, and the power of this blow was enough to directly destroy a planet. But Jiang Li was not afraid at all, only to see his fingers move slightly, and the green barrier immediately protected Jiang Li inside. Two energy lasers flooded Jiang Li, and 03 lasted for a few minutes, and the Parallax Demon had already used almost the energy in his body. This no way the Parallax Demon couldn't help but break out in cold sweat on his forehead, because he saw that the green barrier was still safe and sound, and there was not even a single crack on it. Just when the Parallax Demon wanted to escape, Jiang Li came to him in an instant, and immediately slapped a palm on the Parallax Demon's abdomen. AAA, the Parallax Demon's eyes and mouth burst out with green light, and finally black smoke floated all over his body, slowly opening his clear eyes. Jiang, what's wrong with me? The Parallax Monster entered your body, and I just pressed it down so that your consciousness can awaken. Later, Jiang Li also talked to Hal about everything he had done when he was a parallax demon, including smashing the little blue man. I actually killed the Guardians. A flash of self-reproach flashed in Hal's eyes, but a thought soon came to mind. I must atone for my sins. Hearing this, Jiang Li was stunned at first, and then he also reacted to Hal's meaning, and he asked with some uncertainty, "You don't want to resurrect those Guardians, do you?" Hal nodded, because he could do these things with the power of his body, and the group of little blue people who resurrected the Guardians of the Universe could also be regarded as atonement for their sins. Who knew that now Hal was now pumping his brain, and he was actually going to resurrect them? Those little blue people are not happy to be resurrected. In any case, it was the result of me, and I have to be responsible for it. Jiang Li immediately knew that he couldn't persuade Hal. Anyway, if he encountered any big incident in the future, Hal would definitely be able to regret his death and make this decision. Subsequently, Jiang Li and Hal returned to OUA Star, and under the eyes of Green Lantern and Ganser, Hal bursts out with the power of his whole body and resurrects the 7 little blue men. In fact, these 7 little blue people are brand new individuals, and they have no relationship with the little blue people who were killed outside. Not only resurrected the little blue man, but also restored the central energy battery of the Green Lantern Corps. Jiang Li put his hands on Hal's shoulders and injected his own energy into the latter's body, and soon the parallax monster in Hal's body was forced out. The parallax monster flew out of Hal's mouth, and Jiang Li's eyes were quick, and he instantly let his green light ring completely absorb the parallax monster under everyone's gaze. This time, the speed of assimilating the power on the parallax monster was very fast, and it didn't take long to completely become Jiang Li's power. Ganser witnessed this happen, but he didn't stop Jiang Li's actions, and unlike those stubborn and rotten Guardians, he knew how to be flexible. You saved the Green Lantern Corps and OUA Star, and even the entire universe, and the Ion Shark and Parallax Monster must be safe with you. When Jiang Li heard this, he had a good impression of this little blue man who was doing business. Leave, you were so handsome just now. Arisha came to Jiang Li happily, constantly talking about how majestic he was before. Even Layla on the side had a smile on the corner of his mouth, and both of them were impressed by Jiang Li. He was the big hero of OUA Xing and the entire Green Lantern Legion. I hope we will have a chance to have dinner with the big heroes. After Layla finished speaking, she hugged Jiang Li's arm at the same time as Aressa. Jiang Li, who did not understand the brain circuits of some alien girls, was pulled by the 2 women on the road to the rest area. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye, Jiang Li 140 stayed in OUA Xing until the next day. Jiang Li opened his eyes and slowly sat up, first looking at his lean upper body, and then at the 2 silhouettes sleeping on both sides. Fish ponds can be expanded into outer space. Jiang Li raised a smile at the corner of his mouth, and quietly lay down on the bed again, gently holding the 2 soft and delicate bodies. Physique, Dionysian Factor, Extraordinary Magic, Super Charm, Doomsday Bloodline, Template, Kratos Template, Magic Master Template, Self-created Template after refining the Magic Book, Parallax Ion Template, Template after the fusion of Ion Sharks and Parallax Monsters. Note, can be used together. Read violent novels, just go to Felu Fiction Network. Abilities, Absolute Willpower, Speed Power, Telepathy, Mind Control. Items, Green Light Ring, Yellow Light Ring. Character, Black Lily. Jiang Li's mind moved, and let the system call up his own panel information, and he hadn't seen the changes in his panel for a long time. Episode 95. Jiang Li, who passed through OUA Xing's party, returned to his manor in Gotham. Jiang Li looked at the time on his phone. It seemed that only a few hours had passed, and he had been staying in waxing for 2 days. Then Jiang Li stopped thinking about this, but returned to his room, and when he entered the living room, he saw Fiona and Carla looking at each other, both of them looking at each other warily. Fiona has been working as a guard on the estate, and Carla has become the new tenant of the estate. Jiang Li beckoned, and Harley, who was watching TV, immediately ran over, and the former asked her, "How long have they been like this?" "That blonde named Kara has been like this since she moved in, and she doesn't seem to trust Fiona's position very much." If you think about it, after all, Fiona had followed Zod and Krypton to try to control Krypton through mutiny, but then failed, and then was banished to another space to avoid the invasion of Brainiac. After understanding the ins and outs, Jiang Li walked between Fiona and Kara, and after Fiona saw Jiang Li, she respectfully shouted, "Master, Master?" When Kara heard this, she looked at Jiang Li with strange eyes. She was confused about the situation at this time. When did Jiang Li become the adjutant's master? Ahem. Jiang Li leaned down, whispered a few words in Kara's ear, and said to Kara in panic, "Her head doesn't know how. As soon as she sees me, she calls me master. I can't watch a girl in a foreign country suffer, so I have to reluctantly leave her behind and give her a bite to eat." The burning breath spread into Kara's ears, making her beautiful face can't help but blush, only knowing that after she heard Jiang Li's words, she nodded subconsciously. Kara couldn't help but be shy, and after taking a small step back, She picked the golden hair next to her ear behind her ear, and her tone was embarrassed. I'm just a little worried that she will be bad for us. Jiang Li smiled slightly, and he looked at Fiona on the side, who still had the same respectful look as a loyal dog. You can rest assured of this, I have checked this, she does not remember anything except for her name Fiona and the memory from Krypton. This is true, Jiang Li really checked whether Fiona's brain had residual memories of the past, and the result was naturally satisfactory to him, except for the memories instilled by Jiang Li. The rest can be said to be clean. Okay then, I trust you. Kara saw that Jiang Li let her not worry. Then she was naturally willing to believe what Jiang Li said. It's just that there is still some resistance to Fiona's existence in her heart, but she only dares to put it in her heart. After all, for some reason, she doesn't want to disappoint Jiang Li. After calming Kara, Jiang Li took Fiona to the Apocalypse Cave, entered the secret room where the prisoners were held, and immediately saw the leopard woman sitting on the chair with an angry face. Bastard! Let me go. I promise to tear your face apart. Now the leopard woman is injected every day with a potion that is enough to make the other party weak all day, and even a simple shackle can trap her. Without waiting for Jiang Li to make any moves, Fiona on the side was full of cold, and after she stepped forward, she punched the leopard woman on the cheek. You dare to speak ill of your master? If you weren't useful to your master, I would definitely kill you without hesitation. Lying in the groove, the brainwashing was a little fierce, and now it seems that Fiona really regards him as the most important master, and verbal abuse alone cannot be tolerated. Bah! The leopard woman spat out a mouthful of blood, and said with disdain in her tone, I really don't know what kind of soul soup he gave you, like a dog. It is also strange to say that in the Earth leopard girl has never seen a subordinate like Fiona. There is a feeling that others scold her boss, and she is anxious with anyone. To be honest, I prefer to slowly conquer the wild cheetah than the docile cat at the beginning, and now I invite you to stand on my side. When the leopard woman heard this, she couldn't help but tug at the corners of her mouth. I won't bow to the man of Wonder Woman. If you want to kill me, then hurry up. Jiang Li gave Fiona a look, and after the latter nodded in understanding, he grabbed the leopard girl's neck and pinned the other party against the wall. The leopard girl snorted in pain, her eyes still unyielding. This alone would not make her give in. Jiang Li slowly stepped forward and stroked the furry hair on the side of the leopard woman's cheek. It's really a disobedient wildcat, but I like it very much. Any idea why she is so loyal to me? Hearing this, the leopard woman subconsciously looked at Fiona, who grabbed her neck, and she confirmed that the loyalty of the other party was too strange. The next moment, Jiang Li's voice sounded in the leopard woman's mind. Because I gave her head a big cleanse, now I want to use the same method on you. Suddenly the leopard woman was shocked. She really didn't expect the other party to be so vicious. If it was completely brainwashed, then it was another person entirely. You're kidding? Jiang Li smiled, a cold light flashed in his eyes, and lightly tapped his finger on the forehead of the leopard woman, who was startled by the sudden touch. This time I plan to come to a different one. I will modify it slightly. I am your favorite owner, although you dislike it on the surface, but you are happy and even excited by the master's caress, like a well-behaved cat. Your command task is completed by your death, and your favorite reward is the master's touch. Wait, please have a lot of adults, let me go. I promise not to be your enemy again. If you are brainwashed, then you are not yourself, and what will become in the future is unknown. It's too late to regret it now, young. No, with the white light emitting from Jiang Li's fingertips, the leopard woman rolled her eyes and gradually lost consciousness. Now, change back to human form. As soon as the words fell, the leopard girl obediently put away her brown-yellow hair, and then changed back to her human appearance, showing her naked body in front of Jiang Li's eyes. Jiang Li stroked the leopard woman's chin as if he were caressing a cat, and although the latter's expression was a little disgusted, the pleasure in his eyes was difficult to hide. The corners of Jiang Li's mouth rose slightly, showing his evil nature. What a good cat. Episode 96. A week later, Cosmopolitan Amusement Park. Jiang Li was dragged out to play by two magical sisters-in-law, and the place he chose was the Metropolitan Fae Playground, accompanied by the girl Carla. I'm going to play that and that. I'm going to play this and this. At this time, Jiang Li was in pain and happy, and was pulled and run around by two sisters-in-law. Only Carla was left by the side, and she really wanted to pull Jiang Li's arm and have a sweet date with him like a sympathetic couple. Cassie and Donna also became acquainted when they first met with Carla, but when Kara learned that they both called Airy brother-in-law, she was almost confused by this information, but she didn't expect that before she began to attack, the other party was already famous, but later she learned that Jiang Li was not engaged. Carla was relieved. It seemed that she still had a chance. 847. The four of them walked into the haunted house together, obviously the most powerful superhumans in the world, but they seemed to pretend to be genuinely scared. Several softballs continued to squeeze Jiang Li's arms, and even Kara had to come together, hugging the former's back and feeling the touch coming from his back. Jiang Li couldn't help but spew out a burning snort. The so-called saying is good, rich, and sighing. This sentence is really too hot. Finally walked out of the haunted house, the third girl suddenly looked relieved, and I don't know if it was true or not. It's really scary. It's good that my brother-in-law is around, otherwise I will definitely faint in fear. Cassie Chiao had a faint blush on her face, and said as she hugged Jiang Li's arm very closely. Yes, haunted houses are really scary. Donna also had a frightened expression. If Jiang Li wasn't an old fritters, maybe he was really bluffed by these two Neezy. Jiang Li patted their heads a little funny, I think the ghosts are afraid of you, right? Behind you stands Wonder Woman Diana, not to mention behind Diana stands the Olympian gods. But when Jiang Li turned around, he saw Karana's frightened pale face, and the former immediately knew that there was really a ghost fear among them. Carla, are you okay? Jiang Li walked up and patted Carla's back with concern. I am okay, let's go play with something else. Soon, the pale color on Kara's delicate face was replaced by a blush, as she lost a big face in front of someone she liked. Later, they went to play other entertainment facilities, and gradually the sky turned golden and the sun gradually set. Carla and Donna Cassie sat on a park chair, waiting for Ari to buy ice cream. Sister Kara, you like your brother-in-law too, don't you? Suddenly, Cassie asked. Kara, who was suddenly attacked, had a red face, and couldn't help but get messed up, and she didn't know how to respond to Cassie. Cassie and Donna looked at each other. Apparently Carla's reaction had explained the answer, thinking that her brother-in-law's charm could even be cut off by the Adai. Carla, shall we form an alliance? Donna immediately suggested, because Donna and Cassie knew that Jiang Li was in the manor in Gotham, but there were many women who were hungry for their brother-in-law's body. Kara was similar to them, they were a little older than the women in the manor and Diana, and the time was simply not comparable. Not to mention Diana, who had been with Jiang for 50 years. Hearing this, Kara was stunned at first, and then carefully thought about the suggestion of the two women. As an alien, she was not familiar with life on Earth. Read violent novels, just go to Felu Fiction Network. It may not be fun for the insidious and cunning Earthlings, and perhaps cooperating with these two girls is the best choice. Okay, I'm willing to ally with you, so what should we do? Hearing that Kara agreed to form an alliance, Donna Cassie and the two daughters were overjoyed, so that they had a strong ally in the fight for Jiang Li. Donna patted her chest and assured, don't worry, as long as our sisters have meat to eat, we will definitely give you soup to drink. Keep you waiting. Jiang Li returned to the three women with the ice cream for three in his hand, and he soon found that the relationship between the three women seemed to be much better. Before they used to look at each other with the eyes of the enemy, but now they hook up like good sisters. What did you talk about? The three women all had smiles on their faces, and said at the same time, it's nothing. Subsequently, Jiang Li flew home with them, and Donna and Cassie decided to take advantage of Jiang Li's home, and Jiang Li naturally accepted his sister-in-law's request gladly. Anyway, there were more empty rooms at home. The four of them flew high in the air together, and the jammer developed by Jiang Li could perfectly solve the risk of their detection, whether it was the naked eye or electronic instruments. But when they returned to the sky above Gotham City, they found that Gotham City was smoking at this time. Seeing this, Jiang Li quickly expanded the scope of his sights and smells, and instantly detected several familiar breaths, the owners of those breaths. Exactly the Justice League. Episode 97. The time came a few hours ago. At this time, except for Jiang Li and Bruce, all members of the Justice League gathered in the Hall of Justice. It's so calm now. The Flash Barry sat at the round table and sighed with a smile. Green Lantern Hal quipped on the side, please dude, the Doomsday Legion sneak attack on the Justice League just happened a few days ago. So soon, forgot? I haven't forgotten. In just one day, how come a few of your hair turned white? Are you sure it's okay? Hal subconsciously touched his white hair, and laughed, it's nothing, but recently I think that white hair is quite handsome and popular, so I dyed it white. Although Barry was a little worried about Hal's situation, he saw that the other party seemed reluctant to disclose his affairs, so he simply did not pursue it. At this time, Steelbone opened his mouth and asked, Ace and Batman are temporarily absent. Let's discuss it first. What do you think of Superman's recent proposal to add more blood to the Justice League? I don't have any opinions. Me too. I don't mind the Justice League being lively. Seeing that neither Green Lantern nor the Flash objected, most of the other Justice League members agreed to the proposal. Guys, there is a gift box outside our Hall of Justice. Is it yours? Arthur walked into the conference hall, still holding a square gift box. After the experience of the Doom Legion, everyone was very wary of this situation, and Superman used his clairvoyant eye to examine it, but did not find anything suspicious. Was it a gift from a fan? Hal walked up to Arthur with a big heart and took the gift box. Wait, the gift box contains lead. Before everyone could react, the gift box began to overflow with dark green smoke, and the entire conference room was filled with thick green smoke. Ahem. The Justice League crowd accidentally inhaled smoke into their noses, their veins began to turn dark green, and so did their eyes. Hello, welcome all the heroes to join the game, now it's time for the Bat to have a big surprise. On the screen of the Hall of Justice, a strange man with dark green hair and fiasco skin appeared. He is the clown who has disappeared for a year. Boo. The next moment, Superman, Green Lantern, and Martian Manhunter, as well as Steel Bone, all broke through the ceiling of the Hall of Justice and began to fly towards their target. The Flash and Seaman rushed out of the door of the Hall of Justice, and they both set off towards Gotham City, where Batman and Bruce are located. The only one who remained was Diana. You have a more important task. I heard that you have a good relationship with Ace. Then you go and bring back the head of Ace to me. Diana held the Vulcan sword in her hand, and instantly turned into a silhouette and flew into the sky, quickly flying in a different direction than the others. Time goes back to the present. Jiang Li asked the two sisters Donna Cassie to go back first, and he went with Kara to see what was going on in Gotham City. The two flew to the ground and saw a giant mech 3 or 4 meters tall entangled with members of the Justice League. Jiang Li fixed his eyes on it. Wasn't that mech the Fenrir armor that Bruce had made to deal with the members of the Justice League? And now, for unknown reasons, he was fighting against a group of Justice League members. The Justice League is blackened again? What's going on? Carla's face was full of doubts, so she asked Jiang Li on the side. But before Jiang Li could answer, a cold light flashed, and Jiang Li quickly pulled Kara to take a step back, and the blade slashed forward. The one who came was Diana, and at this time, her eyes did not have the gentle look of the previous lover, but instead green eyes full of killing intent. My love, I'll free you. In Diana's eyes, Jiang Li's figure at this time was the figure of Doomsday. The next moment, Kara blocked Jiang Li behind her, with a wary look on her pretty face. Don't you want to touch him? In an instant, the two burst out at amazing speed, colliding together, and two women with super combat power suddenly fought together. The only difference is that Diana was affected by her sanity, which caused her to be ruthless and decisive. On the contrary, Carla, who remained sane and kind, kept her hands everywhere. Zero ask for flowers. Coupled with the fact that Diana is a top martial arts master, Carla, as a fighting white, is naturally not an opponent and will soon fall into the downside. Diana's Vulcan sword almost collided with Kara's body, and the latter clenched his fist in his right hand, and immediately accompanied by a strong wind, slammed into the former's abdomen. Bang! Diana was instantly shot away, but quickly stabilized her figure in the air, and then landed firmly on the ground, her eyes filled with cold light. Kara turned into an afterimage and rushed towards Diana, who took a defensive stance, and soon the two fought again, and the battle between the two female superhumans was accompanied by a sonic boom. Their duel destroyed everything around them, and the battle was extremely fierce. Diana punched Kara flying and even knocked over several cars. Seeing this, Jiang Li did not intend to continue watching the battle, but he saw that his hands were gently clenched into fists, and a dark black vortex appeared under Diana's feet, and several black chains flew out from it. Hurrah! The chains flew through the air. Diana, who was bound by black chains, suddenly felt weak, and immediately Jiang Li's hands were raised, bursting out with dazzling white light. The light shone on Diana's body, directly dispelling the toxins in her body. Exclaimed Diana, and then fell forward. Jiang Li quickly caught her and instantly transferred her to Diana's home in Paris, France. Later, Jiang Li looked into the distance, but found that Bruce's Fenrir armor was suppressed by everyone in the Justice League, and he could see that Fenrir armor had a lot to be desired. Obviously, the Fenrir armor is not 100% manufactured, but a half-finished product, although it has been able to delay the Justice League crowd. Need my help? Kara flew to Jiang Li's side and asked. At this time she was trying to show herself. After all, she received a lot of care on Jiang Li's side. Jiang Li glanced at Kara, and then replied with a slight smile. Okay, now is the time to need a Supergirl. With a sweet smile, Carla quickly ripped open her shirt, revealing the red and blue uniform underneath, with an S-shaped logo representing the Superman family on her chest. Episode 98. Bang! Fenrir's armor was slammed into the building by Superman's punch, shattering many public facilities. Bruce, who was inside Fenrir's armor, had an ugly face, and he didn't expect this day to come so soon. Master Wayne, the Fenrir armor is still in the unfinished stage. I propose to retreat immediately. Bruce quickly drove Fenrir armor to stand up. Honestly, he also wanted to retreat, but apparently the other party did not want him to slip away so easily. When he saw the pale faces of everyone in the Justice League and the strange arc of the corners of his mouth, he knew that the madman was back. Bruce looked at Superman flying high in the air through Finn's 180 Rill's armored eyes, and he gritted his teeth. This is my city. I won't run away. Welcome to Gotham. Phew. The next moment, with the sound of breaking the air, the Superman above the sky was taken away by a silhouette. Just when Bruce was confused, Afyu's voice came from the channel, and his voice seemed a little anxious. Sir, those guys from Arkham Madhouse escaped from prison. Hearing this, Bruce quickly tuned out the image, and sure enough, as Fu said, Gotham and Arkham Madhouse had fallen at this time. Jiang Li's estate, Apocalypse Cave, Barbara, Stephanie, Selena, and Black Lily, Harley Quinn, Donna and Cassie. Several silhouettes gathered here, except for Donna and Cassie, all wearing their logo uniforms, all looking at the supercomputer screen in front of them. The screen was showing the tragic situation on Gotham Street at this time, and the dark green fog spread throughout the city. But fortunately they discovered this situation in time and quickly came to the Apocalypse Cave to hide. There is no doubt that these are again the crazy tricks of the Joker, who dropped gas bombs over Gotham City enough to spread the entire city. Now Gotham can be said to have completely fallen, and Batman's side has been delayed by everyone in the Justice League, and now it can only rely on us. Barbara, as the captain of Venus, told the other girls about Gotham at this time. The screen shows the situation of the residents of Gotham, who are undoubtedly gassed by the clown, and now their faces are pale, the corners of their mouths raise a strange arc, and they are constantly attacking the living people they can see around. It's not Gotham now, and we can't stand behind him forever. We have to learn how to deal with tough situations. Barbara's words made the women nod for a while. They were not willing to become vases. If they could help Jiang Li, it would be a happy thing for them. Selena stretched her waist, which was outlined by the black tights, and her tone was a little lazy. Then what are our plans? Now, we are wearing gas masks and immediately go to the place where the riot happened and calm it. As they prepare to leave, Barbara asks Donna and Carla to stay at the manor, while the leopard woman stays behind to watch them. The reason is that they are not trained, so they do not intend to risk Donna and Cassie for such a dangerous operation. Okay, let's go. As soon as Barbara's words fell, the women immediately sat on the Apocalypse Fighter. The ground of the manor gradually opened, and the lifting platform slowly raised the Apocalypse Fighter. Donna and Cassie stay in the Apocalypse Cave, glaring at each other with the leopard woman. They are a little contradictory, after all. The other party was their sister's nemesis before Zero. Read violent novels. Just go to Felu Fiction Network. Although I don't know how to get good later. Dark green clown poison gas pervades Gotham City, which naturally includes Arkham Asylum. All the villains in the Arkham Asylum were gassed by the clown and began to run wild, destroying everything around them. The killer crocodile is tearing at the prisoners in prison, and the ground is covered with the latter's scarlet blood. But no one was afraid of this bloody scene, because they all frantically attacked the people in front of them. It doesn't matter if they were former colleagues or enemies, prisoners or prison guards. Die, die, die. The Penguin laughed maniacally, attacking everything in front of him with his umbrella, and laser flamethrowers appeared endlessly. The Black Mask used his fist to greet the guards and prisoners in the face. Bombshells threw prison guards like bowling balls into the crowd, drowning both prison guards and inmates in their own mud. The Apocalypse Fighter flew through the air and immediately fell several shadows. 15. They were Barbara the Batgirl, Stephanie the Spoiler, Black Lily, and Fiona. They are all wearing black armor that is somewhat similar to Fiona, showing their heroic charm. As for the two girls Harley and Selina, they had long flown to find Jiang in the Apocalypse Fighter, and it was none of her business to be the crazy people in Arkham. Do you need me to kill them all? Fiona asked to Black Lily. The corners of Black Lily's mouth rose, and he said with a smile, "That's not okay. After all, we are not bad people, but if no one can see it." Episode 99. A red-blue figure fell into a high-rise building, and the entire building collapsed in an instant. Kara floated high in the air, staring at the smoke-filled ground below, and through perspective she saw her cousin lying in the ruins. Superman smiled evilly and said to Kara in the sky, "As I said, no one saved him." In his mouth, he naturally refers to Batman Blues. After all, the Joker's infatuation with Batman is obvious to all. "Carl, you are now controlled by villains, and I advise you to lie obediently on the ground now." The breeze blew the red cloak on Kara's uniform and her golden hair, like a heroic Valkyrie descending from heaven. But what responds to Kara is the loud sound of Superman flying up, and Superman's speed directly breaks through the sound barrier, making it difficult for ordinary people to capture its speed. Kara also did not show weakness, and also burst out with terrifying speed. Two red and blue figures collided together in an instant, and the aftermath of the collision of two fists shattered the surrounding glass. Bang! "I'm not going to show mercy, Carl." Kara knows that Clark, who is Superman, has a Man of Steel that is 0-5 to defend against everything, and it is difficult to hurt the opponent with ordinary attacks. The two soared in the air, and the heat rays greeted each other unceremoniously, but they had no effect on the steel bodies of both sides. Aha! Kara grabbed a car and smashed it at Superman, and although there was almost no substantial damage, the car itself became tattered. The two siblings fought for a long time, and they couldn't tell the difference between victory and defeat. Similarly, Jiang Li had been watching the battle from a distance for a long time, and at the same time he saw his own Apocalypse Fighter landing beside him, and two silhouettes came out of it. "My sweetheart." Harley immediately ran over and hung on Jiang Li, and the latter could only hug the former with a dumb smile. Since he has the power of divine speed, it can be said that Jiang Li and his confidants can meet every moment, but Harley cannot see each other for a day. Even so, like every 3 autumns. "Can you leave me a little space?" Selina walked to the two with a smile and said, "Don't even think about it. As long as I am there, it can only be my Harley Quinn." After that, Harley also very mischievously stuck out her tongue at Selina, and then continued to stick with her dearest Jiang Li. "Okay Harley, I have to help our friend now, or his toys will fall apart." Now Bruce is struggling to deal with the other Justice League members, even though Fenrir armor has been destroyed by most of Superman. Jiang Li threw the fainted Flash on the ground and looked at the other members of the Justice League. Arthur the Seaman, Green Lantern Hal Jordan, Martian Manhunter John Jones, Steel Bone Victor Stone. "Need our help?" Selina and Harley came to Jiang Li's side and said, "Both women have been strengthened by the strengthening potion in their bodies, and have basically reached the level of superhumans, and can resist cars falling from the sky and bullets flying at great speed. Whether it is reflexes, agility, or strength, it has been greatly improved, and it can even pass 2 moves with Superman." "Then I'll leave it to you." Jiang Li readily accepted the proposal of the 2 women. Anyway, he would not have any accidents watching from the sidelines. Read violent novels. Just go to Felu Fiction Network. Before that, Jiang Li's amazing spiritual power like a tsunami directly washed the spirit of the Martian Manhunter, who lasted less than half a minute before falling straight to the ground. Now the most difficult one to deal with has been Jiang Liban, and the 2 women can already be enough for each other's other opponents. Phew! The sky crossed the Apocalypse Fighter. Bang! 2 oval-shaped metal devices landed in front of Jiang Li. When the metal devices opened, 2 sets of black women's armor are visible, just like the Kryptonian armor that Fiona wears. In addition to high defense, it can also adapt to extremely harsh environments, and has a combat support system, which can quickly adapt to the enemy's combat skills, so as to summarize a set of response plans. Haixia rushed up first. Selena seized the opportunity, stepped forward and then spun and moved, easily dropping Haixia to the ground. In less than a minute, Selena stepped on the head of the Seaman and taunted with her thumbs down at the other members of the Justice League. Then, the Steel Bone moved first, and he flew high in the air and fired a laser cannon at Jiang Li on the ground. Selena nodded on her mecha's wrist, and a semicircular force field shield protected Jiang Li and the two women in it. Harley stepped forward, and also nodded on the translucent screen on 567's own mecha's wrist, and the next moment an energy shockwave washed away the Steel Bone. The Steel Bone instantly weakened his whole body, fell violently from the sky, and fell to the ground unconscious. Yay! Harley victory! Harley clapped her hands happily and shouted. It was Jiang Li's elaborate miniature electromagnetic pulse device, specially restraining the enemies of the mechanical department, but unfortunately, he did not expect that the first time it was used on his own people. Now, only Green Lantern Hal Jordan remains. But now Hal's willpower is obviously floating because of the influence of the clown's poison gas, and it is obviously not the opponent of Selena and Harley. Harley takes out her metal hammer, while Selena takes out the laser whip from her waist. A new round of beatings has officially begun. Selena's laser whip binds Hal, and although the green light ring does a great role in protecting Hal, it still makes Hal feel some pain. Harley lightly jumped 10 meters high, raised the hammer in her hand, and then hit Hal in the head. The greatest Green Lantern fell to the ground in response and fainted gloriously. Episode 100. Bruce climbed out of the scattered Fenrir's armor, held Jiang Li's outstretched hand, and stood up. After he saw Harley and Selena, who were beating up Hal, he said to Jiang Li, I have to rush to Arkham immediately. There is a mess there. You stay here and watch them. Just as Bruce took a step, a red-blue figure fell in front of him at great speed. It was Superman, and the corners of Superman's mouth still had a strange arc at this time. Soon, a silhouette fell above the sky, that is, Kara, who returned triumphantly after the victory. Now Kara Chow has a sunny smile on her face and an invitation in her eyes. Seeing this, Jiang Li naturally smiled and said, Carla, you did a good job. After hearing this, Carla's face blushed more, squinting her eyes and smirking. Actually, it's nothing. If it weren't for Carl's brain and broken, I wouldn't have had a chance. Jiang Li smiled, and then said to Bruce next to him, I found a place underground in Gotham, and the clown may be there. Subsequently, Jiang Li told Bruce the general location and explained to him the general thing. That is, the truth that the clown had the Dionysian factor flowing in him. The picture turned, and came to the side of the Arkham Asylum. Shaped like a ghost, Barbara moves quickly through the group of enemies, leaving only a bat dart on them. Immediately, an electric current that was enough to paralyze their whole bodies erupted, and they all fell straight to the ground, unconscious. After nearly half an hour of suppression, most of the prison guards and prisoners present were subdued and fell to the ground and fainted. Barbara dodged a prison guard's baton and then removed the latter's arm with lightning speed. Click! 2 or 3 punches directly broke the ribs on the bodies of other prisoners who wanted to attack. After solving the enemy in front of her, Barbara looks at the other members of Venus. I saw Stephanie summoning all her fists and feet to the enemy in front of her, accompanied by a crisp fracture sound. Because Stephanie's teacher is Jiang Li, a ruthless person who treats enemies without mercy, the former inherits the latter's decisive and ruthless style. Not to mention the Black Lily, who is in a high position and shoots enemies in a dead corner on the ground. All of them are killed with one shot. Fiona glanced at the killer crocodile indifferently, and immediately mastered her fist, breaking through the sound barrier at the speed of her fist, and a deafening roar sounded in many people's ears. Boo! Fiona's fist slammed directly into the chest cavity of the killer crocodile, who spat out hot blood, and his whole body smashed into the wall and was dying. This is the first time Black Lily has seen Fiona's strength, but considering that the other party is the same kind of superhuman, then it is quite normal to have such strength. Fiona's afterglow accurately caught the mud-faced giant hand coming towards her, and after taking a deep breath, she immediately exhaled a strong cold wind. The mud face was suddenly frozen into ice cubes, staying in place unable to move, and then Fiona's eyes flashed a cold light, and she clenched her fists and slammed on the mud face in an instant. Bang! The mud face instantly shattered into pieces and fell to the ground. Aha! The bombshell picked up a telephone pole and smashed Fiona's head. Touch! The moment the pole touched Fiona's head, it shattered like glass. Fiona's face turned cold, slowly turned around, and then quickly grabbed the neck of the bombshell, and with a little force, there was a crisp sound of fractures. It can be said that all the villains present are not Fiona's opponents. After all, the Kryptonians are obviously a bit of a supermodel in this group of criminals in Gotham City. After the baptism of Force of Venus, the riot in the Arkham Madhouse can be said to have completely calmed down, but there are some dead and crippled. Phew, finally got it here. Stephanie wanted to wipe her sweat, but was blocked by the mask of the armor and wiped her loneliness. The role of the black armor is also reflected here. Not only can it isolate the clown poison gas, but also has various high-tech functions. Black Lily came down from a height holding a hook-lock gun, nodded on her wrist, and directly connected Jiang Li's communication. Boss, our task is accomplished. Jiang Li on the screen nodded. You all did a good job. It's really worthy of my heroic team. Boom. But in the next moment, they all felt a tremor on the ground in Gotham City. Jiang Li suddenly knew something, and instantly turned into a black lightning bolt and came to the underground cave of Gotham City. I saw Bruce fighting with a pale man, both of them were bloody and blurry, and Bruce still had wounds injured by bombs. Jiang Li came to Bruce's side in an instant. "You need treatment." Wait, just as Bruce wanted to stop Jiang Li, in the blink of an eye, he found himself lying on the hospital bed in the Bat Cave. Next to him stood Ah Fu, who did not react. Wow, I didn't expect to go home in the blink of an eye, and I saw my grandfather lying on the bed covered in injuries. Listening to the spit in Ah Fu's mouth, Bruce couldn't help sighing, and could only hand over the clown to Jiang Li for disposal. The perspective returns to Jiang Li's side. After Jiang Li sent Bruce back, he looked at the clown with scarlet blood. "I won't let you go this time." Then, Jiang Li lightly snapped his fingers, accompanied by 6 black squares appearing in the space. Immediately, the black square quickly closed towards the clown, directly forming a black box, trapping the clown in it. "What are you going to do?" The clown patted the black box inside. "Banish you to a different dimension, where no one can find you, and you will only be free in a void." Jiang Li then added, "So you can't go back to Gotham and can't see Batman." "Oh, that's not good." In the next second, a vortex sucked the clown trapped inside the black box into it, and with the closure of the vortex, the entire space fell into calm. After solving the clown, Jiang Li looked at the green pool not far away. "Those are all serious Dionysian factors, although they are a little impure. These are good things. If you don't bring them back, they will be wasted." Read violent novels. Just go to Feilu Fiction Network. But as long as Jiang Li lifted his hands and feet a little, he could also completely purify this entire Dionysian factor pool. Then, Jiang Li gently waved his hands, and white light erupted from Jiang Li's hands, directly covering the entire space. Soon, both Jiang Li and the Dionysian factor pool disappeared into the entire cave.